Well, hello there, lovely listeners. You are back again down the red rabbit hole. And guess what? We've got a guest with us. Yes, Lisa and I have once again dragged someone else down the red rabbit hole. But before we introduce her, Lisa, are you there?
I'm here. Yes, I never left. I've spent a week digging. Really, spent a week digging this tunnel under the Pacific Ocean. Oh no!
No? Oh my God, where have you gone?
Well, I went the wrong way. Then I had to go under the Atlantic.
Oh, okay. Well, that's quite apt, really, isn't it? Because our guest is from across the Atlantic. At least I hope so. My geography is not that bad.
Yeah, no, that was mine. That was my really poor geography at the beginning there. Yes, I've been digging a tunnel under the Atlantic Ocean all the way across.
And it is a bit of a weird warren this time because we're going to be talking about a particular case. So our special guest with us today, helping us with this case, is Anngelle Woods, who is the host of the true crime podcast in the States called Crime of the Truest Kind. Anngelle, are you here with us?
Hello. I feel so close to you, although I'm so far across the sea.
Lisa's dug up into your backyard. I hope you don't mind.
I hope you don't mind a lot of dog. I have a lot of dog pies back there. That's a PG way to say it. Oh, it's a mess back there.
I just went directly in. It was all I was all in for the love of art. I had to do it.
So, Anngelle, tell us a little bit about yourself. When did you start the podcast? What's your interests?
My interest, well, I've been a professional radio host presenter for a number of years here in the Boston and New England area. And that's been really fun. So with that came all these other skills, researching, writing, audio production, etc. So it wasn't too difficult of a switch for me to make. So back in that window of time remember that time where people were making sourdough bread and staying home a lot and watching a lot of Netflix, I started a podcast, which I've always listened to podcasts, always wanted to do a podcast. And I was inspired by a book that I read and I just did it. So technically 4 years, but actively for 3 years, I've been doing the podcast.
Okay. And what's your favorite Boston crime then?
Oh gosh, my favorite, probably one of the most notorious that people really enjoy talking about and taking sides is the notorious mob boss named Whitey Bulger. He has a lot of movies have been based on his story, and certainly he had, you saw Black Mass with Johnny Depp, maybe. He is notorious as some people consider him a folk hero, sort of like the Robin Hood who stole from the rich, and, put drugs on the streets of South Boston. The rest of us know that he is responsible for a lot of carnage and a lot of pain. So, it depends on who you talk to. If you talk to some crusty old South Boston person, they might tell you that he was the best thing ever. Few other people will tell you that, though.
Yeah, it's one of those things that tends to divide, doesn't it, in terms of like folk heroes.
Yeah.
And not to be kind of sexist, but it can divide through the genders as well. Men tend to see these kind of guys. I suppose, who's the guy that was the cocaine? Oh no.
Who's the guy who was cocaine? Yeah, just
No,
handing
the
himself
guy
out.
that-
all over the place.
Escobar.
Yeah.
Everybody we went to high school with?
Escobar.
Oh, Pablo.
I remembered. Pablo. Yeah, because some people kind of saw him as a bit of a folk hero, but clearly,
Oh,
you
for
know,
sure.
he was,
Oh, yeah.
he was not a great guy most of the time.
No.
And I'm not sure the kind of,
Nope.
the kind of balancing out there that you do one good thing and then you can commit a ton of crime and ruin people's lives, on the other hand, can settle that out.
I mean, and that's how they looked at him, how the movies portrayed him when the film came out. Oh, his name was James, oh, James, you're out, meaning out of prison. Oh, James, you're out. And he goes and pats the nice old lady on the shoulder and carries her groceries. And so of course the neighborhood thinks he's the best thing ever. Meanwhile, he's like pulling people's teeth out with pliers and burying them on the beach. It's all who you ask.
Yeah, and sociopaths and psychopaths can both help little old ladies across the road. It's just the difference is when,
Yeah.
nobody's looking, they push them back into traffic.
I've just looked him up, and I'm just looking at the picture. He looks like a really typical Essex granddad. Like,
Oh no.
and that's a very, very English reference, but he does look particularly like somebody's granddad, maybe in like Tilbury in Essex.
My great granddad is from the UK.
Yeah, what part?
I always heard Bradford,
Oh yeah, Bradford.
Yorkshire.
Yeah. I don't think we know
County
him.
and town.
But-
No, I didn't either.
No, but
That makes 3 of us.
although if you'd have said Northamptonshire, I'd have been like, what's his name? Where did he go to school? It would have started the conversation. But no, I don't know anyone in Bradford.
I always try. I don't know what his accent sounds like. Is yours similar?
Not at all. Bradford's quite
Out there.
northern. It's northern. So I
Yeah.
think we're more
Yep.
kind of Midlands, maybe more towards the, I suppose, the London accent that's perhaps on the TV
Mhm,
a little
yeah.
bit more.
I watch a lot of British TV lately, so yes,
Oh.
yes, I'm matching you up with some of the folks I see on the telly.
Oh.
That was very good.
British TV's better than US TV. Maybe I've seen all of the US TV and I need to move to a new country. That's probably why.
Maybe. I mean, what was your favourite British? We've gone way off subject, but what's your favourite British
Okay.
TV program?
This is a different rabbit hole, ladies. I discovered Call the Midwife just this year, and I watched all 13 seasons over the course of about 3 months. I love that
Have you
show.
watched the new All Creatures Great and Small?
No,
You'd love
but
that.
I want to.
If you love Call the Midwife, it's set around the same time period, and it's got that gentle kind of, what would you call it, Lisa? A gentle kind of drama?
Yeah, it's not too heavy.
Everybody is so kind in Call the Midwife. It's like, I wish that the 50s and 60s were truly this kind and magical.
Yeah, they were. I think you'd like All Creatures Great and Small because obviously it's about vets, so it's got a lot of animals in it, so it's quite nice like that.
That's the absolute marker of the nicest people in Britain. It's all the vets.
It's all the vets. But I think, isn't it set up north? I'm sure it's set up
I
north.
don't know. I don't think I
So you'd
remember
have
the
that kind of-
original.
I'm sure it is.
Let alone, no.
Oh, do you
No.
not? No, because it's about a Scottish vet that goes to work for them. I'm sure it is.
Yeah. Of all the series you could recommend, there's Downton Abbey. There's
Oh yeah, there's Down. Yeah, but everyone's seen Downton Abbey. That's nothing, and that is.
I haven't. I've only seen a few episodes. I have a lot of catching up to do. A show that I just finished on Hulu, it's another British, they're set in Camden. It's called Trying. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
With I think the lead is Esther Smith, maybe is her name. But she has a similar
Essex
accent
girl,
to
I'm
yours.
sure.
Lisa.
I don't know. I have no idea.
It has nothing to do with crime, but it's heartwarming.
I think we might have discovered that Lisa's got a different identity and is acting and
I
trying.
wish. I'd love that. That'd be great. Oh, I'm looking her up now. I'm going to see where Esther Smith's from. Oh, Stourbridge. No, that's miles away.
Oh,
Yeah.
perhaps
Well,
she
West
puts the
Midlands,
accent
though,
on.
isn't
They
it?
are
So-
actors after all.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
actors, yeah.
They can change their accents.
Well, anyway, yeah, we could sit here for hours talking about TV, and I would, quite frankly. But we are here with a very serious debate, aren't we,
Is it?
Lisa? That we think Anngelle can help us with.
I might have missed the memo.
You didn't miss the memo. You replied to
No,
said
I
You
memo.
didn't study for this test, did you?
And I lost last time we had a competition as well, Anngelle. So I'm, yeah. She made me change the numbers on my top trumps card until she won. Yeah.
Uh-oh. The fix is in.
It's always my fault, Anngelle. I'm so glad you're here.
Am I a tiebreaker?
Well, in this case, you're going to be the judge. So what we're going to do is we are going to not reenact, but we are going to put forward the trial of one of the most famous New England cases, Lizzie Borden. And Anngelle, I'm sure you've got, your own idea as to what happened with the Lizzie Borden case, but we invite you to put anything you know to the side and to listen to our cases.
Of our inferior researching skills and podcasting skills. To be fair.
There have been a lot of intensive debates here in Massachusetts about a current case I'm sure you've probably heard of. In international news, the story of, and this is another rabbit hole because I too am very familiar with the rabbit hole. There's a case about this woman named Karen Reed who was just on trial. She was just, it was a hung jury. There was a mistrial in the case. So the state of Massachusetts says they're going to retry her. But it is talk about a very divisive subject here. It's bananas how people talk to one another when they're talking about this case. It has touched like a nerve in basically everyone who knows anything about it.
So it's like the modern Lizzie Borden.
It's sort of in that this woman, Karen Reed, was a young woman, early 40s, was dating this guy, John O'Keefe, another young guy, a Boston cop, by the way. He was found near death in the snow, in a blizzard in New England in January, where the high temps are about, 25 degrees. That's when it's warm. He was found in the snow, subsequently passed away a few hours later. She was charged. The prosecution claims that she backed into him, left him to die in the snow. The defense says she was framed by by the people who lived in the house where he was found outside and all of their friends and acquaintances and pretty much the whole town. Interesting point. Everybody of people who lived in that house where he was found outside were also police officers. So it is a very, still after a 2-month trial, 6-8 week trial, however long it was, still pretty inconclusive to a lot of people, just in terms of, did she do it, or was he supposedly beaten and thrown out in the snow? And it's I will stop there, but rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Oh holy hell. Oh holy hell, yes.
Did she know him?
They were dating. They had been a couple for a period of years, and they could have been the prosecution tried to bring out all of these text messages and phone voicemail messages that she had left for him that paint her as a horrible person. But I don't know that the prosecution proved without a doubt that she ran him over. Lord knows. I don't know that we'll ever know. I don't know if we'll truly ever know because of the divisive nature of it. I mean, people have free Karen Reed signs in their front lawn like they're selling their house.
That's kind of similar to the Lizzie Borden thing, because a lot of the people said that the motive was her hating her stepmother, but there's no actual real evidence, and even if there was real evidence, just because someone hates you doesn't mean to say they're going to kill you. I don't like a lot of people. I'm not going to go around killing them.
Lucky for me.
Yeah.
And it is, you're right. The way that people were divided about the crime and who was responsible. And Lizzie Borden had a lot of support. I was surprised to find out.
And I suppose it was a lot about her portrayal, wasn't it, in the media? And she was portrayed as this small, upper class woman who could not possibly have done such a brutal thing. And I was just very quickly looking up the case, Reed case, and there's a little bit talking about the adversity that she has battled, and her illness, and a lot about her kind of education and stuff. And I think, well, that's a definite sort of angle in the news portrayal around this person, which is very similar to the Lizzie Borden case.
But does it really? Oh, well, I'm showing my hands now as the defense, but does it really matter? I can pick you out killers, people that have been, put away for killing people, that have all sorts of backgrounds and have all sorts of things. Do you know what I mean? To me, it's like, well, that's not proof of really anything.
But it's how the news media influence, isn't it? What the information that they choose to print about people.
Right. People are tried in the media. We know that.
They are, and it's more prevalent today, obviously, than, well, I say it's more prevalent than in the Lizzie Borden time, but then again, the reporters went nuts over Lizzie Borden. You know, it was always in the papers. It was filled. The courtroom was filled with reporters and people that the looky-loos that want, you know, because they didn't have TV back then. There was no Netflix, so no one had, you know, Call the Midwife to sit and binge.
Nope. I feel so badly for them. It's such a good show,
isn't it? Yeah, there's no, this is their entertainment. So, and I know that a lot of the evidence in the Lizzie Borden trial was completely trampled, you know, what primitive forensics that they had to begin with. But then anything that they had was completely trampled on by reporters wanting to get in the house. So, Lisa, shall we put our wigs on?
Indeed.
Like true barristers of the UK.
I'm very ready, and I'm going to put on my barrister voice, I think. I'm going to try.
Are you?
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Okay. I believe as the prosecution, you do go first. So would you like an opening statement?
Oh, I haven't prepared an opening statement. Right, you share yours, and then I will.
But you'll copy me. That's not fair.
That's the idea. Don't put your hand over the paper or anything, so I can't see it. Let me copy you.
All right, I'll let you copy me,
and then we'll be friends, and we can hang out at break time. Okay.
Okay. I will give in to peer pressure. Okay. So, Judge Wood, I put to you that there is no evidence here that Lizzie Borden committed any crime at all, and that's going to be evident throughout this trial. That Lizzie Borden was just the first person that the police latched onto, and they saw nobody else but her.
I'm nodding as the judge would do. Mm-hmm.
Good. I see. The Judge Wood is in the palm of my hand now, Lisa.
Heard.
You got to wrench her back out.
I'm going to be called in contempt at some point, I'm sure. Judge Wood, though there may not be any physical evidence, the circumstantial evidence is strong. Not only did Lizzie Borden have a motive to complete this heinous crime, she also has no alibi for her whereabouts at the time of the death of her father and her stepmother.
I would put it to you, Judge Wood, to rebuttal. There's lots of people that have no alibi at the time of the murders. And that there was another person within the house, Bridget, the maid, who never once swayed on where Lizzie was at the time of the murders. And that circumstantial evidence is indeed, as my learned colleague puts. I can't even say that with a straight face.
It's because you're calling me Leonard.
Leonard, yeah, you're my learned colleague.
Just you to call me Leonard then. Leonard.
Leonard. All right, Leonard. But yes, even my learned colleague has said that her evidence is circumstantial, which to me is not enough to make someone guilty of murder. And I'm assuming the death penalty at the time.
But who else could it have been? The motive.
That's not why we're here.
She had a.
We're not here.
We're
not here to give stories. You need to prove that she is guilty, not that someone else couldn't have done it. And I'm not here to prove someone else did it. I'm just here to prove that my client is innocent of all charges. And now I'm sitting back in my chair and adjusting my wig ever so slightly.
Well, I would say it was known that Lizzie was going to make some money over the death of her father. She didn't like her stepmother very much. And Lizzie was outraged when her father transferred a fool's river of property to her stepmother's family, to her sister, instead of to her. And this gives her a very strong motive, beside the point that she also lost her beloved pigeons. Have you, my learned colleague or whatever, ever loved a pigeon? Lizzie really loved these pigeons, and he took a hatchet to them. And he hacked all their heads off and then said, you can't have a house. And, you know, and Lizzie knew, well, if I get rid of you, then I'll also I'll get a load of money and probably all those houses back, and the pigeons will live in peace.
So, Judge Wood, what are your initial thoughts?
I want to hear more about the pigeons. There were pet pigeons in the Borden household.
So I'm not sure if she actually had a full-on, like, what was a coop? A pigeon coop for them, but she had been feeding them. She had been encouraging them to come, and they were her friends. She had named them Bob, Frank, Izzy, and Petunia. she loved them very much. And then her father took an axe to them. He said that they were pests, but I don't believe that is the case, that he just did it.
Did he give them 40 whacks is the question.
No, 41.
So she was nurturing a family of pigeons, and you say maybe that is part of what triggered her to allegedly, and I'm the judge, I have to be very careful with what I say, allegedly
Well, her
murdered
father.
her father and her stepmother.
Yeah, there was money. Mm-hmm.
And you say money.
So the Andrew Borden's estate was worth $423,650,000, which is the equivalent to about 59.3 million today. So she was going to. That is quite a significant financial motive. So there was financial motive, but there was also the emotional motive, because Andrew killed her pigeons. Don't forget them.
Can I rebut?
I don't think it's hard, but yeah.
So many
Yes, you
buts.
may.
So the very fact that her father killed the pigeons could indicate that she would be perhaps scared of him. Do you not think? I mean, if someone killed something that I loved in front of me, my first instinct wouldn't be for vengeance, but would be to cower in the corner like a normal woman of the time perhaps would. And I would put forward that, yes, he was a very rich man, but he was also well known to be a miser as well, and had upset quite a number of
That's
people
right.
by dealing with bankruptcies in the town, and it could have enraged many people. Putting forward again my learned college theory that somebody else did it, then yes, okay, I will agree with that. Someone could have done it. Someone else other than Lizzie.
Who have you presented as the alternate?
I'm not here
Killer.
to present another killer, because I'm just here for her innocence, personally. But as you've asked, Judge Wood, and I will do whatever the judge says.
If it's not her, then who?
Again, it could be Bridget. They said that if a woman can wield the axe, why not Bridget? She was there. I would put forward that the lack of evidence, as I said in my opening statement, does go against Lizzie actually committing these murders. I think we can all agree that the murders were pretty brutal.
Mm-hmm.
There was 19 hits on the stepmother and 17, I believe, on the father while he slept. And that would have been a lot of blood. I mean, watching one episode of Dexter would indicate that you're going to get pretty bloody. Even if you got lucky on one murder and didn't get a spot on you. I just baked some scones and I had everything where I needed it, yet still I was covered in scone mix. So I can't imagine hitting someone's head with an axe that many times. Yeah, the scones were truly dead, and I did bake them.
And depending on how hard that scone or scone turned out to be, you could have used that as a murder weapon.
I made chocolate chip scones, and they were perfect. They were perfect. Oh yeah,
no, I
really
want
good.
scones.
We had them
Thanks.
with lemon curd. Anyway,
I'll bring some along the tunnel. I'll run some along.
Okay.
Well,
we run some along. Well, we've got to keep Anngelle overnight, so
keeping it for a week, aren't we? Always. Well,
yes.
I would like to come back and present, Judge, some evidence of actually some missing evidence of the blue dress, which a week after the murders, Lizzie burnt because she said she had paint on it. Yeah.
I knew you'd go there.
Yeah.
I knew you'd go there.
And of course, there was some blood found in a bucket downstairs in the cellar of the house on some rags, I think, that we used for cleaning. So there was some blood that Lizzie Borden cleaned up and burnt.
Judge Wood, what do you think of the blood evidence?
Given the injuries sustained by these two people, the two Borden adults, it would seem that there should have been more blood present. I mean, they were hit with a hatchet more than, well, we're talking about collectively at least 40 or more hits. I've watched some CSI. I know that makes a big mess. Dexter had his own room. I think I need to hear more.
Well, I mean, I have a massive butt.
Yes, you do. And in the case?
I do.
However.
and in the case. I have a massive butt, and I am going to tell it to you. But I am going to tell you it on the next episode.
Oh.
Yes, I'm going to leave you the
Ha.
whole week, listeners, to wonder what I'm going to put forward to my learned colleague, and of course, the very lovely and just Judge Wood.
You're also going to come back with an apple, aren't you, next week and put it up on the
Maybe.
up on the desk? Yeah, this is for you, Judge Wood.
This is for you. Enjoy. Have a scoop.
Yes, have a scone. Enjoy. Whereas I might come with some true facts. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I might come more prepared. I might not. Let's see.
I don't think real Lisa's going to hack it. Get it? Hack it?
Oh,
come on.
just like Lizzie did.
Allegedly? Well, no. Well, there's more to the story.
But I do think, I mean, we did make the point earlier that the media were very much in play. They're in play in this trial that's happening at the moment with you guys, the Reed trial. But they were definitely in play in the Lizzie Borden one. And we can't, looking back in terms of, at the time, obviously they didn't realise what was going on. But I think looking back, we can include that kind of evidence in this one because this is a more modern trial.
Oh, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I need to engage the pod.
I still won't let the cameras in.
You're very just. I know that. Lisa seems bored. I'd like you to note that down. Whatever, I believe, crossed her lips, which doesn't seem very respectful for your position, to be honest. That's
destroyed.
Just
just because your case is in down the toilet. There's no defense in this case. She did it, and we know she did it.
My case is not down the toilet, and also I add that she was acquitted at the time. So I'm not working against the system here. I'm working with
you're working against me.
You
set me up for this. Set me up for another loss.
You had the choice you could have said to me, "Oh no, I want to prove she's innocent." You could have said that. You didn't.
I didn't. No,
you didn't.
I didn't. Well,
No.
only because I thought the evidence was pretty overwhelming, really.
Yeah. See, you fell for it. You listened to the media. That's what you did.
I did.
You listened to the media. So, listeners, we are going to sign off. So, thank you, Anngelle, or Judge Wood, as she will now be known
forevermore.
Forevermore, for joining us on this episode. And you're going to stick around, aren't you, to record the second part, so you can judge us fairly on our evidence?
I sure will.
Excellent.
Make yourself comfortable. Okay. We're going to get some scones.
Yeah, we're going to put on the telly for you. We're going to binge the series.
I think we ought to go sort of, late 80s, early 90s. I think that's the time, TV, British TV, late 80s, early 90s. A bit of like Goodnight Sweetheart.
Goodnight Sweetheart.
That would be good.
Absolutely fabulous.
Yes.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was a bit of fun.
Yeah, that was great.
We'll all get drunk.
What was the one about the police in the that would have been a real favourite.
The Bill?
No. Or The Bill's good. I think you'd like The Bill, but what was the one that had Nick, what's his face in it? Oh, my memory's doing me great today.
Oh,
As
Heartbeat.
Always. Heartbeat. You'd love Heartbeat, I think. Let's put on the Heartbeat marathon.
I think I have to get BritBox.
Yeah, you are going to have to get BritBox. Definitely. And I think Spitting Image is going to be worth a watch now we've got a new government.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, dear.
Always worth a chuckle.
Yes.
So before we go, what would you recommend us watch this week?
I'm not sure I recommend it, but you might need to take in the documentary about the Sherry Pepini case. Have you heard about that woman? The woman from Northern California who was called the Gone Girl in the media?
Yes, I remember that. She made up a whole story, didn't she?
She made up the entire story, and she did harm to herself. It's a mess. I mean, we certainly know all of these years later what truly happened, but to see what she did to herself, they show her injuries.
That's dedication, I guess. I suppose lying aside.
I can't fathom what place this woman was in when she decided to pull off this bizarre, hugely the drama and the planning that must have gone into this. I just don't understand it, and I haven't seen the end yet, so I don't know exactly what her take is and what she has to say for herself, but whoa.
My suspicion is that it just got way out of control. When you
I don't doubt it.
it just
Yeah.
she probably had a really great ideas to get a bit of attention, to to make everyone miss her and get in the papers and things like that, and then next thing you know, it's like it's lost and it's away from her, and what it's
Mhm.
like. It's one lie after one lie after one lie, and then you can't keep the lie straight, and if you're not good at it, then you get found out pretty quick.
From what I understand, also because of the nature of these things, there was a big GoFundMe campaign, and they raised a lot of money for the family.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna guess they probably had to give that back. Well, I think those were part of what charges came later.
I mean, is that fair? I mean, they didn't know, really, did they?
The family didn't know. I believe that the husband didn't know. I really don't think he knew. He seemed pretty sincere in the things that I
Yeah.
watched of
So
him.
for all intents and purposes, she was gone. So to me, I would have been like, well, that's quite
Mhm.
just. They needed that money to try help get her back.
Mhm.
They did it in good faith.
And they had 2 little kids.
Yeah.
He couldn't work. I mean, come
Yeah.
on. Nobody wants to be part of that club.
No, and again, the media went nuts. Everything blew out of proportion, and next thing you know, you're hitting yourself in the face with something.
She caused a lot of damage for herself, for her family, and for the whole community, you know? She blamed people. She pointed the finger at she said they were 2 Hispanic women, so okay, let's be racist on top of everything else.
Yeah, like real stereotypes she was talking about, and she was just making it
Yeah.
was like she was coming up with a film setting, wasn't it? And that she was the star of the film because she always came out
Yeah.
like they were her mates, like she talked them round or something, and it was just absolutely ridiculous.
Mm.
It was it seemed like she spoke of it initially with such maybe conviction is the word I'm thinking of, maybe not, but similarly to how Casey Anthony just told all of those lies about her missing kid, and she made up all of these scenarios in her head. It was not dissimilar. So what is their mental state like? There's like a whole bunch of, it's like sort of pig pen in their brain. I don't understand it, but she got away with it for a time.
Yeah, and then you got the flip side of the I don't know whether you've seen the Netflix documentary American Nightmare,
Oh, yes.
where you got someone who is actually abducted, and the police assume that it's fake. Yeah.
Didn't believe her. And thankfully, there was that one officer, that one law enforcement officer that made the connection to a crime that happened in her area, and then made the connection to those people in Southern Cal, I think like
Yes.
Newport
Yeah,
Beach
she was a
area.
hero.
One
Mhm.
police officer made the connection. If not for her, they would
Yeah.
have never connected that, and that woman would
Yeah.
have been
Yeah,
vilified
that
forever.
policewoman deserves. Well, hopefully she did get an award, but she definitely deserves one for doing that
Oh,
and not being prejudicial in her thinking. Because
Mhm.
you're presented with how everybody thinks it is, and to be able to say, well, actually, I'm going to examine this, and I'm going to look a little bit
Mhm.
deeper, and I'm not going to just go with what I'm being told. And that, I would hope, is the main, I suppose, talent of every police officer
Mhm.
throughout the world. But obviously, it doesn't seem to be.
I mean, that case, that American Nightmare case that you're speaking of, it does seem unbelievable. It does truly seem, they were blindfolded, and
It
just
was the scuba
everything that
suits
they
Yeah.
and it was like, what?
Yeah.
But that was probably the point, wasn't it?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
goggles, blacked
The
out
drugs
goggles.
and oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
we have a whole other show. We should do another one. Right. Well, listeners, we have kept you long enough down this rabbit hole, so we are going to leave you for now. So don't forget to follow the Red Rabbit on all the social medias. And of course, look at our Patreon page. We'll put all the links below, and we'll also put Angelle's links as well. So if you want to have a look at her podcast and her details, then do feel free. See you next time,
See you
guys.
soon. Bye.